All right, boys. So James Bond. Let's talk about what's getting ready to happen to James Bond. It seems like James Bond is a little bit too masculine for today's modern man. So they're going to rein him back in the new game. So let's look at it. Let's look at the interview and let's talk about it. Dude, changing James Bond is a slap in the face of Christopher Lee. I'll have to cut this from the video. Wouldn't even put that out there, man. They might be listening. Hey, man, it could happen. I mean, they really want to make sure that they capture that modern audience. All right, boys. So let's go ahead. Let's read through the interview. Let's see what's going on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it together. Make sure you guys are here so we can talk about it, right? So Interactive's upcoming adventure game, 007 First Light, has quickly become one of the most anticipated games of 2026. Debatable? All right, as the name implies, it's based on the critically acclaimed franchise of the same name. And in the upcoming game, you'll play as a young James Bond who's still learning what it means to be a 00. As we've gotten closer to the game's March release date, more information has emerged. We now know that Gemma Chan, who starred in films such as Eternals and Don't Worry Darling, will be joining the game. She'll aid Bond through the game. Chan isn't the only celebrity making an appearance, as it was recently announced that award-winning artist Lenny Kravitz will be playing Bond's counterpart in the upcoming game. Despite that, we still don't know much about the story, but what we do know is, similar to the Bond films, we'll be taken to all sorts of exotic locations throughout the world, and that there will be plenty of action and spy scenes that the series is known for. And Lenny Kravitz, he is highly relevant right now, I'm new. Everybody and their brother sits around and they're like, I love Lenny Kravitz. I haven't heard Lenny Kravitz in 40 years. It's the perfect time for him to come back. People were dying for a Lenny Kravitz comeback. I liked Lenny Kravitz back in the day. Let's be honest. Like, I didn't hate his music. All right, so I'm going to read this. We're going to kind of like, I think we'll read it. We'll talk about it. We might have to cut some of it out because it's going to be very long. But at the end of the day, it wasn't for you. It might not have been for everybody. I was young, so it wasn't terrible, right? Monster Vine talks 007 First Light with IO Interactive's narrative director. So Monster Vine asks, how would you explain the game to someone who knows absolutely nothing about James Bond? Like, what would be the elevator pitch? I mean, you get to be the coolest secret agent in the world. I mean, that's like the shortest pitch, right? James Bond is endlessly charming. He's funny. He's incredibly cool. Like, the more dangerous it is, the more focused he gets. I think he's literally the coolest guy in the world. So your studio is known for stealth games. It's clear that 007 First Light will have a lot of fast-paced action scenes. Did the team face any creative challenges when stepping out of the stealth box? So the director says, I mean, it's just upping the action. We're giving players the ability to just kick ass. I'm trying to read this in like a natural tone, but in order to do that, I have to change some of the words. But then when I read the rest of the words, I have to try to like reorganize the sentences in my head and it doesn't work very well. So I'm just going to read it verbatim and it's going to suck, but I'm going to do the best I can, right? I mean, just upping the action. Giving the player the ability to just kick ass. Like, we've developed an amazingly close combat system, which is really immersive and contextual. So you'll use the environment, you'll use them against each other. You'll be throwing them over the edges. It's a really short sentence. You'll be throwing them over the edges. It's really physical because Bond is a very physical guy. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that Interactive hadn't done before. I think we've also put layers and layers on our ranged combat, like really polished that and taking it to the next level. So I think everyone at the studio has been really hungry to kind of go for that. Yeah, as well as like the big set pieces, trucks and planes, you know, all the normal stuff, right? One of the things that makes Bond such a memorable character is the people that he's around. Can you share some more insight on who the Bond girls are and how they're going to relate to the story? What I think is so fun this time is that it's Bond's origin story. So you really get to tag along as the young guy steps into this, you know, the world of the shadow, the world of espionage. Everyone who's around him are these kind of old hands in this world. So he's really the only one that's kind of like a new kid on the block. And that goes for the women as well. So obviously we have, I don't know who, I'm not going to butcher that name, as M at M16. But he'll also meet some women in the field who are the kind of seasoned agents that'll be running circles around him for a little bit. And it's a lot of fun. So Bond is just some dumbass young kid and he's going to have a bunch of women teach him how to be a spy. Sign me up. Sign me up, chat. Sign me up. All right, so Bond is known for being a smooth talker and at times a womanizer. Will we be seeing this side of him? Yeah, you will. But obviously, as we were saying on stage before, the character Bond has evolved. So he's evolved throughout the decades, and obviously we reflect modern values. There's the red flag, chat. There it is. So it's not going to be your old school Bond, which would just be tone deaf in this day and age, right? He's a modern guy. I think that if you're gonna, this is what I'll say, Barry. The only wokeification I would take to Bond is if you made him gay. Modern values, it's such a red flag, right? Like, you could leave Bond and you could leave him as like a womanizer, right? Like that type of like very flashy, very like sexual driven, very like masculine, very like hypersexualized, or bi. You could go bi too. Soy James, yeah. You could make him gay, and I would be like, well, that's okay. Like he still wants to fuck everything that moves. Yeah, it's James Bond. It's just with a guy. Okay, fine. Like I could actually deal with that as long as you didn't change anything else. Or you can make him bi, and you could do like a Lucifer role from like the show that was on TV where he was like, I don't know, like I just like attractive people. I don't really care. As long as you didn't change anything else about him, it's fine. Yeah, then he just f***ed everything. But that would be in line with James Bond, right? Like you'd be like, yeah, this seems like James Bond. He's a spy. He does whatever he has to do for his job. You could sell that, right? Like we could all agree you could sell that, right? You could absolutely sell it. But if you're gonna make him some fucking soy boy beta cuck, James Bond, I think it's gonna be a problem. Gay's fine, he just still needs to be a badass. Exactly. But that's what I mean, Leon. I think that like the only modern twist that true fans of James Bond would deal with would be like an alteration to his sexuality. Anything else, like making him be like some sort of like really woke, like in touch with his feelings, worries about other people, like hyper concerned, like conscientious objector, like, you know, like weird sort of like, I can't do anything wrong or I can't do anything bad, is going to destroy the character. Like nobody will ever resonate with that character. Maybe new, no, let's not even pretend. Nobody will resonate. It'll be terrible. James Bond has joined the graveyard with Star Wars and Marvel. I hope not, Code, man. Let's hope that it's maybe not that bad. But I mean, my man here outright just called him a modern guy. So this is basically like 1 foot in the grave already. So can you share some more insight into Lenny Kravitz's character and what the initial pitch for him was like? I don't think that, like, I get that they have Lenny Kravitz and that's cool, but like, I don't know anybody actually cares about Lenny Kravitz. So like, this will be interesting, but I don't think anybody actually cares. We needed someone that was larger than life. We needed someone who had that kind of charisma. And we also wanted to take Bond to the most dangerous places we could find. So going to a black market, arms hub on the shore of, I don't know where that is. We needed someone who could kind of bring that personality. Someone who could really kind of drive this character forward. I'm not going to say it, but where is this? So basically what they're saying is because of the location, they needed a black guy that was larger than life. So they thought of Lenny Kravitz. We needed somebody that would blend into the black market arms hub shore of North Africa. We needed somebody who could bring that North African personality. Somebody that had charisma, but also looked like they could be involved in black market and arms dealing. Well, this feels racist. This feels racist as f***, right? Maybe it's just me. So when Lenny Kravitz came on board, he was instrumental in shaping the character. And so he really brought a lot of character with him. So we worked together on deciding how he looks, how he talks. It was a lot of fun. It was a great pleasure. Oh, I think that would have been a great choice. That would have been a great choice. He's in a lot of good stuff, right? He was in John Wick, right? That's the guy from John Wick. You could have absolutely. They picked the one Jewish black guy, Dark Tower 2. Oh yeah. I think like Idris, he would have been great for this role. He's like well-spoken, dresses well in most of his roles, seems articulate, has a very well identifiable voice. I think he's done games and film. He would have been an easy sell to be like a kingpin character, right? You could have easily sold him. That would have been the easiest sell of your life. It would have cost a lot more money than Lenny. Oh, let's be honest, Theme. This game's not gonna make a profit, so it makes sense that they kind of like cut the budget back just a little bit. All right, so basically So that was the interview, right? That was the interview. So that was the interview with the game. So now it's time to give our thoughts, right, chat? I think it could be a good James Bond game. And I think the idea of like social intrigue, like a mix of stealth and action can be really fun. But I think that you have to be careful not to lose the identity of James Bond. I think the thing that makes James Bond and makes his spy movies and his just the way he interacts in the world that has been created around James Bond for the last 60 years or plus is who he was, and the fact that James Bond has never changed. I don't think that James Bond's been falling out of favor. I don't think people stopped resonating with James Bond. I think what has happened is more and more in modern movies and modern culture, there has been sort of a softening of James Bond, sort of feminizing him in certain ways, and in stripping away what has made him who he is, and sort of humanizing him more. And in doing so, that causes people to like enjoy the content and resonate with him less. So I don't know if maybe James Bond just hasn't been performing well lately, so they decided they wanted to try to make a change with the IP. But I can tell you right now that this will be another example of a dead on arrival game if they decide that they are going to change James Bond from being like this hyper masculine man's man into anything that even remotely resembles the modern day man. But you guys have to let me know what you think. Are you excited for this game? Like, James Bond's not really a game that's been on my radar, but I'll play a good game. But it's sounding more and more like this is going to be a game less and less for me and more for the mythological modern audience, which seems to buy no games.